Let's go ahead and figure out why they're getting rid of y'all, because apparently a lot of y'all suck out there if you're part of Gen Z. Anyways, I want to read to y'all, what's going on out here in the workforce, because apparently Gen Z employees, y'all are horrible employees, according to this article right here. And let me just say this. I kind of believe it to a certain extent. What's cracking, JM? Are they firing millennials too? I would imagine it depends on, are you an early millennial or are you a late millennial? Because me, I was born in 1980, so I'm like Gen X / millennial. So anybody that was born like the early 80s, I don't think they're really getting fired to the degree that the reasons that are being listed in this article where these people are getting fired. If you're a late millennial, which I believe is somebody born in like the mid 90s, if I'm not mistaken, where you kind of bleed over into Gen Z, yeah, you might be in this category as well. Let's go ahead and figure out why they're getting rid of y'all, because apparently a lot of y'all suck out there if you're part of Gen Z. So let's go check this out. It says companies are rapidly firing Gen Z employees just months after they hired them. According to a new report from intelligent.com, it says, but instead of putting the blame on Gen Zers, one expert told Newsweek whose fault it may really be. So I actually know of this to be true. In case you guys don't know, I teach IT, cybersecurity, do some stuff at a tech college where we train people how to get into IT and cybersecurity. And part of what I do for a living, aside from teaching these people all these critical 21st century skill sets, is I write resumes for people, I do mock interviews, I do all this wonderful stuff. So recently, I've actually had people who've gone through my training in real life. They've gone out there, successfully interviewed, got a job. And we're talking about Gen Zers here. And then I want to say within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, these Gen Zers quit their job. Now, I don't know the specific reason as to why they quit. I do have my suspicions as to why they quit, but I actually see this stuff happening in real time where these Gen Zers are getting hired and fired in a relatively short amount of time. Article goes on to say, it says the survey revealed that 1 in 6 businesses said they were hesitant to hire recent college graduates over concerns about how prepared they are for the work, as well as their communication skills and professionalism. So if you guys don't know, if you're not really around these Gen Zers on a regular basis, like I am, there is a significant difference in their communication skills compared up against millennials and Gen Xers and baby boomers and all that stuff. Gen Zers, for some reason, they really do not like to talk to people. And then when they do talk to people, they struggle to maintain eye contact. They're always whispering. They're looking at the ground. I was dealing with a student the other day, and this student came up to me asking me a question, and they're like literally like, 2 feet away from me, and I couldn't even hear anything that they were saying. They were speaking so low. But it's weird because when they go out and they start interacting amongst their friends or whoever, they'll be screaming and yelling to the top of their lungs. But in a professional setting, they're like all shy and timid. And this is all of them. I've yet to come across, I ain't gonna say all of them, but I would say probably about 99% of them. I rarely come across a young Gen Zer who's they just got this confidence oozing from their skin to where when they speak to you, they hit you with the strong eye contact. They give you a nice firm handshake and not hit you with the limp wrist. And, they speak up and project. All of them just love to just stare at the ground and whisper. And look, my oldest son, he does this. And I constantly have to get on my oldest son about this. My oldest son, when I get to talking to him and asking him about what's going on in his life right now, as far as his education, because he's in college right now, man, he just gets to whispering. And I'm just like, bro, you cannot do that. And it's weird because my son is involved in martial arts, right? He does some Korean style martial arts and he does jujitsu. And when he goes to practice, and I'll sit there and watch him in practice, he's yelling to the top of his lungs. Everybody can understand everything he's saying when he over there rolling around on the mats, sparring his opponents. You can hear every word crystal clear. But when I pulled him to the side to talk to him on some grown man stuff about what he needs to be doing as an 18-year-old, quote unquote, adult, he just gets to whispering. And it's not because it's an intimidation factor because I'm his father. This is just like a common trait amongst the whole generation that I've seen. And I don't know if it's due to them having their faces glued to some type of social media application or whatever the case may be. But I'm even dealing with this with my own child, is what I'm trying to tell you. Goes on to say, and a whopping 6 in 10 employers employers had already fired college grads who were hired in 2024. It says 1 in 7 said they might refrain from hiring new college grads next year as well. So you got 6 out of 10, 60% of employers are already firing these Gen Zers who are hired just this year. It's crazy. The survey looked at responses from nearly 1,000 business leaders in August who revealed a strong skepticism from companies about how worthwhile Gen Zers are as employees. Goes on to say, many recent college grads may struggle with entering the workforce for the first time, as it can be a huge contrast from what they are used to throughout their education journey. It says they are often unprepared for a less structured environment, workplace cultural dynamics, and the expectations of autonomous work. It says, although they may have some theoretical knowledge from college, they often lack the practical real-world experience and soft skills required to succeed in the work environment. Basically, what this is saying is that these students suck at just, I ain't gonna say students, but these people, they essentially just suck at social skills in general. A lot of these people go to college. And look, I'm not knocking college. Everybody knows I went to college. I got 3 college degrees and all that wonderful stuff. But I went to college back in 1998, long before social media and the internet was really a thing like it is to the degree that it is today. Colleges today, from my understanding, outside of tech colleges, I should say, but your traditional universities, you know, these are just places where it's just like a hangout setting where you go there, make friends, party, and major in some BS that's probably going to, you know, have you working at Walmart, ringing up groceries or something like that. My personal philosophy when it comes to college, if you're not majoring in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, I don't know exactly what you're doing in college these days. Now, even if you are majoring in STEM, if you're not trying to get some type of internship, trying to get some type of job within the field so that you can build your experience to match your college degree, I don't know exactly what you're doing in college. I know people that went to college. Some of them got engineering degrees, math degrees, you know, all the hard science type of stuff. But in school, I don't recall them ever doing some type of internship or whatever. Matter of fact, I know one guy in particular. He went to college for math. Man, this dude can do everything. Algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, derivative equations. You put a math formula in front of him, he will figure out how to travel back in the time on a freaking whiteboard with some damn markers, right? He'll put an equation together for that. But what does he do professionally right now? My man's works at an Apple store helping people set up their iPhones. Now, I'm not knocking that or anything because he got a job, he's doing what he got to do. But when we were in college, he was all about partying, pledging to fraternities, you know, smoking weed. And man, that's one thing about this dude. Let me tell you something. So this dude, I remember in college, this is a cat from DC. He would love to get high smoking weed. And he would have the music blasting in his dorm room, listening to go-go music. And so he stayed like 4 or 5 rooms down the hall from me, and I can smell it and I can hear the music. He would go into this trance where he would just break out his math books and just start doing his homework, listening to go-go music blasting. You got the high-speed cigarettes in the rotation. It could be 4 or 5 dudes in there, and he's in there doing calculus homework and getting straight A's. I couldn't comprehend it. I was like, how is this even possible? But regardless of all that, he graduates, straight A's. Like I say, he's partying, doing the frats, the whole shebang. But last time I checked on him, he's working at an Apple store. And like I say, once again, no shade to the brother, nothing like that, but he never really applied his arty smarts from that degree towards something that I personally think is could be more meaningful other than helping people, you know, troubleshoot basic iPhone issues on their phone. But anyways, what else this thing says? It says many college grads are struggling to enter the workforce for the first time, as it could be a huge contrast from what they are used to throughout their education journey. So a lot of these youngins coming up through elementary school, high school, some of them venturing off into college, these institutions, they don't really train young people how to think and use their brains to solve problems and all that wonderful stuff. A lot of these youngins, they are basically, in my opinion, being programmed to follow directions, and not necessarily just follow directions, but they're being programmed to memorize stuff, but not really truly understand why they're memorizing stuff, as opposed to them learning how to comprehend information, put pieces of the puzzle together so they can go out there and do something successful with their life. And like I said, I see this all the time. Like I say, I see traits of it with my own son, which is a constant struggle with him, even though, my son ain't all screwed up or nothing like that. But I see this reflected in him to a certain extent. And I see this reflected amongst a lot of these youngins that I got to deal with at my job. They don't know how to critically think, man. They're always looking for somebody to provide them the answer. So like I say, I teach IT and cybersecurity, right? I help people get A+ certified, Network Plus certified, Security Plus, CCNA. I do all this stuff that funnels people into either a networking career, a cloud career, or a cybersecurity career. That's what I do for my business as well. One of the things that I do with these students is after I go through and I explain what I got to explain, my aim is to try to get these students to think, right? When I put a problem up, they have a problem, they have a scenario, I need you to go out there and solve it. And one of the things I like to sit back and do is watch them struggle, whine, cry, and complain until they kind of figure out what's going on. Because one of the things they like to do, they'll go over there, try to solve a problem. 5 minutes into it, they're boohoo, whining and crying. Then they're calling me to come over there and solve the problem. Sometimes I'll go over there, depending upon what it is, and I'll solve the issue in like 5 seconds because I already know what the hell's going on. But the thing is, I'm trying to get these students to think, because what it is, they're going to find themselves working in work environments, especially as it relates to tech. They're going to find themselves in these environments one day where they might be the only tech person at the company, or you might be the only tech person on call that day, whatever the case may be. And everybody is looking at you to solve this damn problem, whether you know how to do it or not. And you're going to have to learn how to put your brain into overdrive and go out there and figure out how are you going to solve this problem so that the company can hopefully stay open for business so you can collect a paycheck at the end of the day. I constantly try to train my students on that. It's an everyday struggle to get them to unlock their brains, because the weird thing is, if I put a video game system in front of them and told them, hey, I need you to go out here and beat this video game, or if something's blocked on our company website, they'll be like, oh, well, I know how to get access to this VPN and we can go here and do this, that. They'll figure all that crap out when it's something of interest to them. But when it comes to something that can get them paid and get them out of their mommy and daddy's house to where they can be on a track to making like $75,000 to $100,000 or whatever the case may be, all of a sudden their brains turn off and they act like they don't know how to solve problems. It's the weirdest thing that I see all the time, but this is just a part of this generation, because I also deal with older students. As a matter of fact, one of my older students came by and saw me yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? He's a former DEA agent. I think he had got retired from the force because he got shot one time or something. He also has a PhD, and I think he's in his late 30s. Anyways, we crossed paths about 4 or 5 years ago, and he was just learning IT. Knew nothing about computers. All he knew how to do was just turn a computer on and watch a YouTube video. He knew nothing about IT like that. Fast forward to the present day, just 4 years later, he works at a hospital in the area. He's a security engineer for the hospital, IT security engineer. And he also started up his own business, his MSP, where he goes around helping small businesses like lawyers and doctors managing their little IT infrastructures, basically, doing little backups for them, upgrading their systems. And anytime they got to deal with a hacker or something, he'd go down there and fix the crap. He said, he was telling me the other day, he generated $500,000 last year just off of his side business, aside from doing his job. Because I think his job at the hospital, I think he said he makes about $160,000 a year. So we're talking about a dude that started, who knew nothing about IT 4 years ago. He started off in the help desk. After we were done training him, he went and got him a help desk job immediately, because I told him that's the easiest thing you can do. Just go get a help desk job, work there for a few months, and throw your resume back out there. So he did exactly what I told him to do. I think he worked at the help desk for like 3 months, and then he went and applied for another job. Anyways, he moved up the chain. Now he's a security engineer at his company, doing whatever the hell he does at the hospital. And he started up his own company on the side that's doing, $500,000 a year in business, just working with private companies, managing their little computers at their offices and stuff like that. But this is an older guy that not too much younger than me, but he comes from that generation of, learning how to use his brain and be creative with it, versus these youngins. Because I had him talking to these younger people. When I say younger people, I'm talking about people that are like 20, 21, 22 years old. Some of them still live with their parents. Some of them just graduated college. That demographic right there, I'm having them talk to them. And of course, when you start throwing out the terms $500,000, $100,000 a year, all of a sudden they're like, ooh. But then I tell them, hey, this is what you have to do to get that. And this is what he did to get to that. And all of a sudden we put them back on them problems and them scenarios. Go configure this network right here and get it to do this, that, and the third. All of a sudden their brains kind of turn off. It's like, bruh, if I told you to go in there and show me how to build a Minecraft world or something like that, I'm pretty sure you can write a whole freaking doctoral thesis on this damn thing. Like, that's just how their brains work, right?